Welcome to the Adriana Talks Dinero Podcast, the podcast where we turn money lessons into tools for healing, confidence, and prosperity in our community. I'm Adriana, your bilingual money coach, educator, entrepreneur, and proud author. Here, we honor our raíces and ancestors while building wealth for future generations. Each episode, I'll share practical tips, wealth building strategies, and real talk to help you take control of your dinero, step into abundance, and go from surviving to thriving. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been doing some scrolling on social media. You can usually find me scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through TikTok or Threads to kind of see what is going on. And have you ran into a situation where you go ahead and open the app and you see one of those videos telling you to claim exempt on your taxes? So you can go ahead and take home more money for every paycheck. Or they go ahead and put it now because of the political state that we're in, that we don't want to go ahead and give the government money because they're not representing us in the best way possible. We're going to go ahead and talk about that today. Trust me, I am your very much radical individual, or that's what they label me as, radical, in the sense of my beliefs and everything that's going on with ICE and is going on with our immigrant communities, I am totally against. But I also want to go ahead and give you a little bit more information on some possibilities to go ahead and lower your taxable income without having to deal with the IRS or any sort of penalties or any sort of repercussions if you were to go ahead and go exempt on your taxes, which usually ends up being your W-4 form. So what it means to go ahead and claim exempt on a W-4 for either state or federal is that you'll actually go ahead and say, hey, I don't want you to go ahead and take out any taxes. And they won't take out the federal or the state tax. Now, these are actually designed for people who have zero tax liability. There's a very few that actually fall under this, but actually most people don't qualify for this and don't realize it. If you end up going exempt and you start taking that money from your paycheck, usually what ends up happening, because a lot of people in the United States don't know how to manage their money very well, they end up having to go ahead and pay penalties. They get underpayment penalties. They get a surprise tax bill, or even they get a flag on their account. Trust me, you don't want to go ahead and go through any of that. Thankfully, I've never gone through it. I've heard of other people go through it, and that is just something that I do not want to mess with. So this can go ahead and result in an emotional and a financial gut punch, because now you owe thousands of dollars to the IRS in taxes because they were not taking it out of your check. And now you have no savings to cover it because you're like, oh, I'm in the clear. And a lot of people don't understand the repercussions. Or they also don't understand sometimes that the IRS is going to put interest on you. So you're probably thinking, well, Adriana, I don't want to give Uncle Sam all of my money. Trust me, sweetheart, I don't either. So the reality is that you should make a goal to go ahead and lower your taxable income. So the goal isn't necessarily to avoid the withholding completely. The goal is to legally reduce how much of your income Uncle Sam and the IRS can go ahead and take in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and go over a few strategies that are available to you. And these are things that you can go ahead and do. And these are actually things that I take advantage of. And I'll be completely honest and transparent. In my 9 to 5, I earn over 6 figures. And with all of the things I'm going to go ahead and tell you about and the things that I qualify for to go ahead and lower my taxable income, I come out to about lowering my taxable income about $15,000. So that's something that's possible for each and every single one of us. So the first strategy is your retirement contributions. If you have an employer who has a 401k or a 403b, go ahead and contribute to that 401k or 403b. And now what I'm starting to see a lot of companies do is that they give a Roth option, and then they give a just traditional 401k or 403b option. If you want to lower your taxable income, you have to go to the traditional route. You cannot do the Roth option. So every single dollar that you contribute to your retirement account in the form of a 401k or a 403b will reduce your taxable income. So how it works is you'll go ahead and put a contribution amount. It's usually a percentage. I put in 6% of my salary into a 401k. And what the payroll will go ahead and do is they will go ahead and take that money first. And then they'll go ahead and take the rest of your deductions. And then after those pre-tax deductions, they will go ahead and assess your net payment, essentially. And then from there, they'll go ahead and take taxes, and then they'll give you like a true net payment, which is the form of your paycheck. So, for example, let's say that you make $50,000 a year. You go ahead and contribute a certain amount. So you're contributing for a dollar amount, let's say $5,000 to your 401k. That means that the IRS can only tax you on $45,000, even though you made even though you made $50,000, $5,000 is put into that 401k, and the IRS cannot tax you on that money that you put in your 401k. Another one is a health savings account. So if you have a high deductible healthcare plan, a health savings account, you'll hear me call it an HSA, is a triple tax advantage. So let's take care of the tax advantage first. Essentially what that means is when you put money into this account, you put it in without getting charged taxes. You can invest this money in your HSA, and all of the growth that happens with your HSA is tax-free. And then when you pull the money out to go ahead and pay for healthcare expenses, which can be any sort of pharmaceutical medicine, you can go ahead and pay for your doctor's appointments, dental work, any sort of glasses or contacts, physical therapy, surgeries. You can actually go to Sephora if you really want to, type in FSA, HSA, and all those things. You can go ahead and use your HSA money. There's actually some quite cool things you can go ahead and pay your HSA for. One thing that I use my HSA for is actually acupuncture and cupping. And I am obsessed. So you'll just have to go ahead and find a provider, such as my Chinese medicine doctor, that takes insurance. They'll go ahead and charge the insurance, and then you can go ahead and use your HSA for payment. So the contributions, like I said, are pre-tax or gross tax-free, and then the withdrawals for the medical expenses are tax-free. And you actually take that money with you the day that you retire from your job, or also the day that you end up saying, peace out, I'm out of here. Take that money with you. The other one is a flexible spending account. This is called an FSA. Again, you'll go ahead and put aside pre-tax dollars for medical expenses. So this can be, medical expenses like doctor's visits, any sort of surgery, medicine, things like that, as well as dental, vision, and whatnot. There is also something called a dependent care flexible spending account. And with that one, if you have little ones that are in the age where they go to daycare, they go to after school programs, or they go to summer camp, you can go ahead and put away money in this tax-free account to go ahead and pay for those things that you're already paying for anyway. But it's tax-free, and Uncle Sam isn't going to touch it, and it lowers your taxable income. So it reduces your taxable income without really changing your lifestyle, or even just, spending money on things that you're already spending money on anyway. Another one that a lot of people miss out on are student loan interest deductions. So at the end of the year, if you still have student loans, you're going to go ahead and get a tax form. And this tax form will go ahead and say how much you paid in student loan interest. That can be deducted on your taxes. A lot of people don't know this exists. If you've been missing out on this, 1, talk to your tax person, and 2, if they have no idea what they're talking about, it's time to go ahead and give them the boot. Another one is self-employment and side hustle deductions. So if you have a side hustle, you can deduct business expenses such as phone bills, electronics, home office, mileage on your car, any sort of like equipment, marketing, continuing education within your business, things like that. I kid you not. This is one of the most underutilized strategies that our community just misses out on. A lot of people usually say, well, Adriana, I make cupcakes out of my house, but I don't want to claim this money because I get paid under the table, and I would much rather go ahead and take the cash. Okay, I get it. We're all in a very tough spot financially, and the economy is crap. But this country of the United States of America was essentially founded, and a lot of the policies and a lot of the tax laws and the tax things that are in place are so business owners do not have to pay as much taxes as a W-2 earner, as a 9-to-5er. In this country, the ones that get screwed over the most are W-2 employees. If you work for a paycheck and then you get a paycheck, you are the ones that are getting the most screwed over, unfortunately. The way to go ahead and offset this, open up your own business. Open up your own business. Start charging people for stuff. Start writing off all those deductions. And you're going to see that your taxable income is going to completely change. This is exactly how the Jeff Bezos of the world, this is exactly how the Elon Musks of the world pay close to nothing in taxes, because they know how to go ahead and use entrepreneurship to the best of their advantage to not pay taxes. Now, I'm not saying the goal is to not pay taxes whatsoever, because of course we need the tax money to go ahead and help with our social programs. But if these white men are taking full advantage of the system that is set up, guess what? Let's go ahead and do it too. And if you say to yourself, well, Adriana, I don't know how to do this, it's really scary. Guess what? I actually help people out to go ahead and set up their LLC. So down in the show notes, I will go ahead and put my link to go ahead and have a discovery call with me. And we can go ahead and talk about what your hopes and dreams are with an LLC and I can go ahead and explain to you what a coaching call can look like to go ahead and set up your LLC. And the way that I go ahead and teach people is I am not going to open up that LLC for you. I'm going to teach you how to do it, because I'm going to teach you how to fish. And who knows, maybe this won't be the first business that you're going to go ahead and open up. So I am a true believer in that. I think everyone should have some sort of business set up. And I don't care if it is that you make balloon arcs, or if you make cookies for parties, or maybe you are doing like taking elderly people to the VA, or you are doing some sort of coaching or consulting with the amazing knowledge and education that you already have. It's time to start playing. It's time to stop playing small and to take advantage of the systems that are set up that are meant to be against us, but let's use it for us. And another way you can go ahead and lower your taxable income that has to do with entrepreneurship is that there are certain investing retirement accounts available just to entrepreneurs that will go ahead and lower your taxable income. So you can go ahead and use that as a strategy, kind of as a double whammy, to go ahead and lower your taxable income because you're a business owner, but now you're using that income from being a business owner to go ahead and invest in your retirement, and it's just going to lower it that much more. So find yourself a really, really good tax professional that will go ahead and walk you through this, and they will go ahead and connect you with a financial planner or a financial professional who is certified to go ahead and do these things and teach you how to do these things appropriately, so Uncle Sam isn't taking so much of a cut. So a lot of myths that end up happening with this topic is I always hear people say, well, I saw someone on TikTok say it works. Or what happens a lot, because my 9 to 5 is in human resources, during lunch, a lot of the employees talk amongst themselves about taxes and how much taxes they get taken out and how many dependents they have, and if they go exempt and then if they go non-exempt and all the things. Personal finance is personal. Just because your buddy who works with you is claiming their taxes one way does not mean it's going to work for you 100% of the time. So lean on those professionals to go ahead and explain to you what is going to go ahead and work best for you. And also, a lot of people usually listen to like the YouTube or the TikToks and things like that to tell them what they should do. And then they end up in quite a bit of trouble with the IRS, and they're like, I'll deal with it next year. Don't do that. Go again to a professional that can go ahead and educate you appropriately for your own situation and take their advice. They're the ones that went to school for it. They're the ones that got licensing for it and all the things. Who knows if the guy on YouTube even knows what they're talking about? And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, they have no idea what they're talking about. And a lot of people usually don't go through all of these steps, and they don't sign up for all of these pre-tax programs that is through their employer because they get overwhelmed and it's too complicated. Just make sure you go ahead and break it down one by one. You don't need to know all the things. Go ahead and start with your 401k first. And then you'll go ahead and move to maybe an HSA or an FSA. And then you're going to go ahead and move into the dependent care account. And then you're going to go ahead and move into entrepreneurship because of all of the perks that I just told you. And also, because of the state that we're in the economy, and things are really tight. Like all of us are feeling the tightness in our wallets and in our pockets. What I hear a lot of times too is, Adriana, I don't make enough money to invest in 401k. You don't have to invest 5%, 6%. Some people I hear put in 10 or 15%. You don't have to put that much money in if you cannot afford it. Even if you put in 1%, 1% is much better than nothing. And 1% will go ahead and take a nice chunk of your income to go ahead and make it a lower taxable income. And then if there's a employer match on top of that, even better. So here's some action steps for you. I want you to go ahead and do 3 things this week. 1 is log into your human resources portal at work and check if you're contributing to your 401k. If you can't see it there, it will be in your 401k platform. If that is that your 401k is through a company like Fidelity, Prudential, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, all of the other ones. Go ahead and log in and see what you're currently contributing. If you have 0, go ahead and move it up to 1% at least. Check if your employer offers health savings accounts or flexible savings accounts. And if they do and you're not using it, go ahead and sign up for it. A lot of people usually say, Adriana, my company doesn't have a health savings account and I have a high deductible healthcare plan. Like my deductible is like $4,000. Guess what? You can go ahead and actually open one up by yourself. Go ahead and look into what the limitations are for the year or talk to your tax person about it. And you can go ahead and open up your own HSA and go ahead and contribute that on your own. And it will go ahead and lower your taxable income at the end of the year because they have to give you a form on how much you went ahead and contributed to this account. And of course, last but not least, if you have a side hustle, start tracking your expenses now. Get an expense sheet. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in my bio for my favorite money app. And you can go ahead and use the Lunch Money app to track your expenses so you don't ever miss a thing. And this will go ahead and help you come tax season to go ahead and put all of your expenses on your side hustle. Now, I know that the videos make it look like it's a hack to go ahead and go exempt. But the real hack is knowing how the tax system actually works here in the United States. Going exempt is a loan from yourself that the IRS will collect. And trust me, Uncle Sam will always take his cut. And not only that, they're going to throw interest on it too. So, honestly, in my own personal opinion, and after talking to quite a few tax professionals, not only the one that does my taxes, but I also have friends who do taxes for other people for a living, I made the decision myself that I'm keeping my dinero where it belongs, and it's in my pockets legally. And that is through the tools that I have through my 9-to-5 to go ahead and lower my taxable income, and also talking to you through my business, Adriana Talks Dinero, LLC. It's time for us as a community, as people of color, as women, as Latinas, to take advantage of the system that has been set up. Unfortunately, the system was set up to go ahead and go against us. But we have such a beautiful community that now it's time to go ahead and use it for us. So take this as your sign to go ahead and find a really good tax professional. Ask around. Ask your people who are business owners, ask your people who have multiple streams of income, ask your people who are doing really well and say, hey, who's your tax person? Are you really happy with them? Or start chatting around to go ahead and find someone, because if you're doing your taxes through TurboTax, H&R Block, or any of these sort of things, they're not going to catch things like this. They're not going to catch things that you can go ahead and use as deductions on your taxes to lower your taxable income. So ultimately, Uncle Sam isn't taking a huge cut. So this episode was really meant to go ahead and educate you and to empower you with a little bit more information so you can go ahead and have these meaningful conversations with your tax preparer. And it's also giving you tools to go ahead and keep every single dollar that you can, because we work way too hard to just give that away. If you really like this episode, please share it with whoever needs to hear it. I know we're in the middle of tax season and we probably all want like a really nice fat return, but also use this as a guiding point to make questions for your HR department and for your tax person, so you have all of the correct information on how you'll go ahead and move forward when it comes to lowering your taxable income. So share this with your amigas, your comadre, your tías, your mamis, your puppies, your hermanos y hermanas, anybody, your sorority sisters. And remember that I'm going to do the same exact episode next week in Spanish. So if you have loved ones that do not speak English or don't understand English very well, guess what? They're going to get the same information in Spanish next week. If you're not following me on social, you can head over to Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, or Threads, and you can find me underneath Adriana Talks Dinero. If you're interested in working with me, you can go ahead and check out the links in the show notes, and I'll go ahead and have free resources, and you can go ahead and do a discovery call with me so we can go ahead and work together on your money goals for this year and beyond. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.